Hi, welcome to another video of Quantity Surveying Studio. This video is all about payment trackers. Now, preparing and maintaining a payment tracker is one of the most important duties of a quantity surveyor. Let's see what a payment tracker is, how the inputs to a payment tracker is recorded, and what a payment tracker can provide to the entire project team regarding the cost status of the project. Now, mainly the payment tracker is used to monitor the inward and outward payments. Basically, any contractor or any construction company will have some inward payments coming to them, and they will also have some expenses, that is the outward payments that is incurred during the entire project duration. Big companies, some standard companies have ERP systems. Usually all these payment details are encoded into these ERP system. Each project will be having a code assigned to it, and there will be different subcodes regarding the payments. So based on that, the inward payments and the outward expenses are recorded into this. From the different commands, these cost details can be taken out from the ERP system. There are also mid-level and small companies who don't have the budget for maintaining a ERP system, so they do it in a traditional way, like maintaining it using an Excel sheet. Now let's see what an inward payments are. So inward payments are basically the payments that you receive from your client for carrying out your works. So this will include your advance payment for your mobilization, your monthly work done payments. Each month you will be preparing an interim payment application, so that will be certified by your client or the consultant. Then the different variations, there are out of scope works, day works, and other claims, EOTs. All these are also the works that you're carrying out for the project, which is not inside your scope of work. As per the instruction of the client or the consultant, you carry out this. You also have the right for the payment for these additional works. Then you have your retentions, which usually you get it after your completion of work. Then finally you will have the final account settled. There will be some payments pending or some payments that is held by the client or the consultant due to various reasons. So finally, all the payments that you have the right to claim, all the payments which you have not received, all these are included in the final account, and that is settled. So these are actually your inward payments. Basically, inward payments are the payments done for the works done for that project, for the particular project by the client. Now there are the outward payments, that is your expenses. So carrying out this project, you will be having some expenses also, like the preliminary expenses for setting up all your project site offices, your camps, your access to the project, all the safety requirements. So initial setup to start the projects, these are mainly the preliminary expenses. Then you will be having some subcontractors under you. You will be giving purchase orders to different suppliers to buy the different materials used for the project. So you will be having payments to be made to the subcontractors and suppliers. Then you will have the salaries to be paid, your direct and indirect staff. That is your management team, your site team, then your labor, your skilled, unskilled laborers who are directly working for the project. Then you will have your utility bills, your electricity, water, your Wi-Fi, your internet connection, telephone bills. You will be having expenses for your maintenance. Sometimes you will be giving rent, monthly rents for different facilities that you are using for the project. Different running expenses like your vehicle expenses, your fuel, petrol, then your stationaries. These are the expenses that is happening throughout your project completion. Your head office expenses, during the tender process, you will be calculating a certain percentage for your head office expenses. Then again, you will be having some statutory expenses like your taxes as per the law, the government requirements of that country, some municipality fees. All these are your outward payments that you need to maintain to carry out the project successfully. So I hope you have understood the difference between what an inward payment is and an outward payment is. Now, what can you understand from a payment tracker? So by seeing a payment tracker, you can understand what the cash flow situation is. You'll understand how much amount you have received till date, what are the expenses you have incurred till date. So you will come to know the profitability, or you'll come to know the status of your project. You can see if your project is going in a loss or if it is going in a profit. So based on that, your management can take necessary actions. If your project is going in loss, you can understand which all payments are due. Sometimes your client will not have made your payments even after the payment due date has reached. Based on the contractual conditions, there might be some charges for delay in payments. So you can also record those payments. Then you can also understand if you have done your payments to your suppliers and subcontractors within the date mentioned as per the terms and conditions of the work order or the purchase order. Then there might be some pending deliveries after payment. You must have paid some advance amount to a supplier as per the terms and conditions of the contract. So they would not have done the delivery in the correct date which they had promised. So that also you can do a follow-up. Then you can understand when the purchase orders or the work orders has been issued to the different suppliers and the subcontractors. When a delivery of material has been made, this also you can include in the payment trackers. And the date of submission of the invoice. This is a very important item that is needed to be recorded by a QS, because there is difference between the invoice date and the submission date. Sometimes the invoice date might be 2nd of February, but the supplier might be submitting it late. That is, maybe by after 15 days they will be submitting. Maybe 17th of February they will be submitting the invoice. So your payment due will be based on when you have received invoice. This clause would have been specified in most of the purchase orders or the work orders, like the payment will be done within 30 days or within 60 days after the receipt of invoice. So that is important. So if you have received the invoice by 15 December and the date of the invoice is 1st December, your payment due will only start from 15 December plus 60 days. If the payment term is 60 days, so 15th February plus 60 days. So within that date only you need to give the payment. It should not be from 1st February plus 60 days. That's an important thing that a QS should not. So it should not be date of both are same. It should be date of invoice and date of receipt of invoice. So I'll correct that. So here submission is not there. So date of invoice and date of receipt of invoice. So these two are two important dates that need to be carefully checked by the QS for each invoice being submitted. So now I have prepared a small payment tracker for suppliers to make you understand it clearly. So this is a small payment tracker that I have made in an Excel sheet. So this is basically just for the suppliers. So for example, your project, you have different suppliers supplying your materials. So for example, ABC, if you see the first, I'll just explain the first two. So there's a supplier called ABC. System means the different systems like MEP or civil or interior. So I've just used E as electrical, M is for mechanical, P for plumbing. Then you can mention a PO number which you have given to this supplier. Then you can just mention what type of material is being supplied by this supplier, the PO date, what the PO amount is. So here what I have done is this PO is being supplied in two different deliveries. So that is why there are two. See, if you see, these are both are for the same supplier. So the PO amount is just common here. The PO date is also common. All these system PO number, PO description, PO date and PO amounts are common. Here the delivery is in two slots. So there are two deliveries made in different dates. So their invoices being submitted are also different. The invoice dates are different. The invoice receipt dates are different. The invoice amount. So for example, since it is 5,000 USD, 2,500 USD of material is delivered in the first slot and 2,500 in the second slot. Then the QS will be checking the amount if it is okay, and then they will be certifying the amount. So that is the certified amount. So payment due date here, what I have done is, so I have assumed that it is 60 days after the receipt of invoice. So M3, so after 30th November plus 60, that is 29 Jan 2001. So you can also input if you have paid the amount. So if I have mentioned, I have just put it at 0. That means we have not paid the amount because the due date has not come. So this table is being updated as per today's date. So if you see, the payment due amount is today's date minus P3. P3 is payment due date. So it is 60 days. So the payment to the supplier is not yet due. We have another 60 more days till the payment to be given to this for this particular LPO. So all these details we can get from here. If you see the second one, it is similar, but here what is then is the amount has already been paid, so there is no pending amount. So there is no need to mention anything about payment overdue. For this part, if you check, the payment is not done. It was 6,000 invoice amount and the pending amount is 6,000, and the payment is overdue. It has become overdue, and it's almost 62 days till from the due date. It has become almost 62 days. So we can understand that this supplier material to the supplier has become overdue, and we need to pay the supplier as soon as possible. So they might not deliver another material if this payment is not done. So hope this is clear. Here also what you can do is from easily you can filter different things. Like for example, I have put a formula here as subtotal. So subtotal is for getting the sum. Subtotal 9 means for getting the sum for the filtered items. So I have put that in PO amount. You have the total invoice amount, the certified amount, the paid amount, and the pending amount. So for example, if you need to know for supplier ABC what is the different status, what you can do is just filter ABC alone, give OK. You have given LPO's worth of 13,000 USD to ABC. The invoice they have done is 13,000. You already certified 13,000. The payment done is only 8,000 till now. The remaining it is 5,000, and that is these two LPOs, these two purchase orders, and the payment is not yet due. So this is based on supplier wise. You can again do based on your system wise. For example, you can just click on M. You can know how many mechanical purchase orders have been issued till now. So here 132,000 US dollars worth of purchase orders has been issued. The invoice done is 132,000, certified is already 132, and paid is 132. So there is no pending amount. This is just for the suppliers. So similarly, you can also make a payment tracker for your inward payments. Then you can make maybe for your expenses. Your expenses can be made separately for vehicles alone, or for your utility bills alone, or you can also use it. You can also make it all together in one sheet. Then your subcontractor payment trackers can be made into another sheet. So based on, or you can also include your subcontractors within this sheet. You can, for example, you can add your if there is a subcontractor, you can give a code system as subcon or something, and your work order, and based on their work done and their invoices, you can enter all your subcontractor details within this. So your supplier and subcontractor can be made into one sheet. Your expenses of other expenses like your bills, your maintenance, your rents, all those can be done in another sheet. Then your inward payments can be done in another sheet. So this is the traditional method of making your payment tracker in Excel sheet. If you're using a ERP system, it is very, very easy by giving a command. Usually SAP and Oracle are the main ERP systems being used by major companies. There are also many different ERP systems available. I have used Oracle system when I was working in UAE, and it was very easy. By just giving a code, your project code and your expense code, you can find how much expenses you have done for that particular. For example, if it is for utility bills, there is a separate code assigned. So you can easily get details of how much the expenses have been incurred, and if you have all settled it. You can also scan your invoice copies and attach it to these into this ERP system, so you can also get a hard copy of the invoice inside from the ERP system. Each supplier and subcontractor will also be having separate codes, so under each of their invoices that you're encoding into the system, you can attach the scanned invoice copy also. So I hope the concept of payment tracker is clear. So if you need this format, just let me know in the comment section. Just put your email ID and I'll be happy to share it with you. So till another video, do keep learning. Have a good day, stay safe, and thank you for watching.